We start with something that is hopefully very helpful for you. I think it will be. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Z-Biotics. And listen, I've got to tell you, this stuff really works. It's called pre-alcohol, and it's a game-changing probiotic drink that I use before a night out with friends or a long dinner with good wine. So here's the deal. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in your gut. It's that buildup. It's not dehydration. That is what makes you feel rough the next day. But Z-Biotics pre-alcohol is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It's made by PhD scientists that produces an enzyme that breaks down that byproduct. Okay, so I first tried Z-Biotics before a dinner party at my place, at my friend's place actually. Had a couple of glasses of red wine, woke up the next morning, and I still made this 10 a.m. show. And that's how I knew it worked. Now, it is football season, tailgates, Sunday games, you name it. So make Z-Biotics your first drink of the night and enjoy the next day too. So go to zbiotics.com/lemon and get 15% off of your first order with the code LEMON. It's backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. That's zbiotics.com/lemon and use the code LEMON for 15% off. Good morning, everybody. Reece, wake up. Reece, and I know the Z-Biotics works because I'm fresh as a daisy this morning. Good morning, Reecie Colbert. How are you?
Hey, boo. Hey, I'm good. How are you? Looking good, Don. Looking refreshed after a fabulous night out.
I did have a fabulous night, but look, it's one of those, even though I feel like refreshed, whatever, you ever had those days where you're out of sorts? I'm having that day right now. So I get up, my phone, I was like, my phone wouldn't open. And then I did some work on the phone, and then I have a speaker in the shower, and I had to fix that, and I had to link it back up. And then I get downstairs, and my iPad didn't work in my computer, and I'm like, I was ready to start on time, and as soon as I'm ready, I think you heard me on the phone going, wait a minute, it's saying I need to update or reinstall. So I'm having one of those days. But
you need to get you some Samsungs, boo. You all in the Apple family. You need to come over here to the Android family. Don't be bougie.
It's not hard. It's not harder to link up to other stuff when you're in the Android.
No, it's not. It's not. I've been a long time Samsung girl, so
Y'all
maybe just mix it up a little bit.
We have to get you a mug so that when you come on in the morning, you can have your tea.
I know. So I love it. We're merched out today. Lemon Live. You got how can people? I need to get some of this stuff. Let me go to the site. What is it?
Go to donlemon.com and click on merch.
Okay, I'm getting it right now.
You show them how to do it, Andy, please. Just go to donlemon.com and you click on merch, and there it is right there. Is that a picture of you and your hubby behind you to the left?
Yes, a wedding picture.
Very nice. Gorge.
Thank you.
Gorgeous. So go to donlemon.com, and then you just go and you click on merch, and you can get this sweatshirt. You can get this mug.
Old people be knowing.
Old people be knowing. That's my thing. Because it's... So what I do know is that I needed my Z-Biotics last night, but what I did not know is that, so you know who Dan Abrams is, right?
Yeah.
Dan Abrams is the legal correspondent for ABC News. He's also the owner and the founder of Mediaite, which is a media website. And Dan Abrams was my office mate at NBC years ago. Yeah, back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
And so Dan opened a new restaurant last night and invited us, and and I invited a bunch of media people. And so I get there, and he tells me, I didn't tell you, but one of your favorite people is here. Ooh. And I'm like, what? And then I go, and this guy is sitting in a booth in the corner, and this is who it is. Put it up there. Oh, that's me. It's Brian Gumbel. That is my mentor, Brian Gumbel, who was I call him the original host of the Today Show. It was Brian and Matt, and right, where we are now. But Brian, I grew up watching him. I loved him. I wanted to be him when I was a kid. And there was Brian sitting in the corner with his beautiful wife, Hillary, and they were and so I was like, okay, this is going to be a great night.
Oh, yeah.
And so I ran into my old colleagues over at the CNN from the CNN.
Yeah.
After I saw Bryant, it was Sarah Seidner.
Oh, love her.
Allison Camerata, John Berman, and that's Dan Abrams on the right. So you guys know Allison, John Berman, Sarah, and then Dan Abrams is on the right. And that was at the restaurant. And then I think there's a picture of me and Sarah. There she is. I love her.
Oh,
and then
she's so wonderful.
Dan's dad, who is Floyd Abrams, was there as well.
Okay.
And Floyd Abrams is like the #1 First Amendment attorney in the world, I say. And we joked around. And he said, "Yeah, Dan's getting a lot off of my name, isn't he?" And I said, "Yes, he is." So he was there. I went with my former colleague, and I call her my boss. She said, "I wasn't your boss," but Allison Gollist, who was there. Mm-hmm. Jen Welch was my date. Allison was Tim's date, my husband's date. And then we saw, I'm going to tell you all the people we saw. Molly Jong-Fast was there. Ben Sherwood, who used to run ABC, was there. A bunch of people. Who else was there? Rob Marciano, who's a weather guy at Good Morning America for a while, and I think he's now at CBS, was there. Lindsay Davis from ABC News was there.
Oh yeah,
and just a bunch. It was like a reunion, kind of a who's who. I missed Abby Phillip, who was there before. She had to leave to do her show, and there were some other folks who came a little bit early, but it was just nice. So I just wanted to tell you that. What did you think? What did you do last night? Anything fun?
No, nothing fun. Nothing like that. I mean, I like to go out and have fabulous dinners and kiss and hobnob, but no, honey, I was just at home doing laundry.
Did you got any pictures?
No, but my birthday is next Tuesday and I'll be in Houston this weekend. So Clay and I have a show. And Friday night, I'll be popping bottles. Okay. I'll be standing on couches. I don't smoke hookah, but I will be, popping bottles on Friday.
Yeah.
I get down a little more, lit, more a little bring bottles out, bringing the sparklers out.
Someone's saying you got to spill the tea about all the thing that's going on. I see you. And I see what you guys are saying about Abby. I love Abby. I just don't like the fighting. I don't like, I don't like that. I love her. I think she's a tremendous journalist. I just think that they need a better place for her. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you.
Yeah. But anyway, love you.
I did Dan Abrams' show before. And actually my very first published piece was in Mediaite. I wrote piece. Yeah. It said, every woman has a Chris Dodd. It was during the 2020 election when he came for Kamala. Yeah. And I wrote that and it blew up everywhere. So I have some ties. I mean, he probably couldn't pick me out of a lineup, but I ain't got no problems with Dan Abrams.
Well, we're going to fix that. We're going to hook that up for you. Happy early birthday. Okay. We'll be celebrating your birthday. Let us know. We'll have a Reecie birthday party. So Reecie, you know why I'm doing this is because, folks have been telling me since I went to Black Week on Tuesday to kick it off. And people were, I gave a talk and they were like, "Oh my God, you were so inspiring, but yet also depressing because the world is in a bad place." And you reminded us of what's at stake. Yeah. And I asked people yesterday or the day before, "Am I depressing you? I'm sorry."
Yeah.
But,
people are feeling a heaviness right now. I mean, even in some of our shows, we're trying to keep it light and keep it fun and people are a little more muted. So I think people have to still recognize that in this era and this part of what Project 2025 explicitly stated was it was about traumatizing federal workers. And I think they're trying to traumatize our entire country. So it's not cliche to say that joy is an act of resistance, whether that is binge watching your favorite TV show or going out to dinner, a fabulous dinner, or hell, even catching up on some laundry. Either way, doing things that make you feel productive, that make you feel joy is much, much needed. And it's not a betrayal of recognizing the gravity of the moment that we're in to have moments of joy and moments of happiness. We have to keep being centered and really focused on what matters. And that's our home and our community and ourselves. That's it.
Well, thank you, Reecie. We needed to hear that. Reecie always has a way of just putting things into perspective. And I learned that even more after we had a couple cocktails together when we were in DC after we did the show together.
That was
just
so fun.
Put everything in perspective for me. And you also, not that you helped to boost my morale and maybe my ego a little bit when you told me the thing about how I help people. I just didn't. You said something about extracting talent or something. I forget what you said, and I was just like, "Oh, Reecie, thank you for saying that. I needed to hear that."
Yeah, you know what, Don, you are so humble and so down to earth. And I think what differentiates you from a lot of people is somebody of your stature, somebody who's recognizable. Because when we walk down the street, I mean, everybody knew who you were, but you really do appreciate and amplify talent. It's not a competition for you, and it's not something where, you know, I don't have near the followers that you have. I have a different, you know, style way I came to any kind of, I don't want to say notoriety, but attention. But you've still embraced me so much, and you've really recognized that I have the economic background, that I have all of these different things that I bring to the table. And so, not a lot of people in your position really pass the mic and really genuinely celebrate people. And I think that people should know that about you, that you are such a genuine person. And anybody who ever tries to say that you're sticking a mic in front of somebody to embarrass them or to do, no, you are really giving voice to the people. And sometimes that's the man on the street. And sometimes that's a girl like me, you know, who cusses and who's a Black girl who has opinions and all the things. So, Don, I know you're feeling a little out of sorts today, but I think we can all agree that you deserve to be celebrated and uplifted because you do so much for us.
Oh, Reecie.
And we love you, Don.
Thank you. And I love you too. Reese's like, I'm like, Reecie, I need you today. Can you come on? Can't do it. I got carpool. I got to pick up. I'm like, to handle your business. But whenever she can, and then she'll do a makeup, she'll go, if you need a sidekick for Hot Topics, I'm here. Yes. So thank you, Reecie, for always being there. And thank you for inspiring us. And that's why I did what I did last night. I went out because I was exhausted. I'm like, and then I'm thinking of going to Chicago, right? So I've got a lot on my mind.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
yes.
to
Be
cover
safe.
that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I did that, because I believe I'm with you. I think we need to be in community with each other. That's why I did Black Week earlier in the week, because that's resistance.
Yes,
right.
It
that's
is
survival. Yeah. And we're going to talk about this morning because I don't know. I don't know if the person is in charge. I don't believe the person is in charge is okay. And I think that's problematic for us. And we're going to talk about, because there was a lot about Joe Biden's cognitive abilities, but then I watch, I'm an observer and I'm a truth teller. Yeah. And something is not right in Denmark. So Reecie, I'm going to discuss and then I'll bring you back. We're going to talk. So stand by, everyone, for Reecie. In the meantime, welcome everybody. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe, because that is really important to us. When you hit that thumbs up and when you hit that like button, it affects the algorithm and more people become aware of our channel and our conversation. And you guys know I say that all the time. I know you get sick of me, but if you look at how our channel has grown, it's in large part because you are hitting that thumbs up. So continue to do it, please. So I started this morning talking with my team and we're like, what are we going to do? You know, there's a deal possibly between Israel and Gaza, but does that resonate? We need to talk about it. What do we do? There's also the government shutdown. There's also Donald Trump just acting like just erratically. And as I started thinking about the deal, and if this deal goes through, look, whoever brokered, helped in this deal deserve the credit. Any lives that are saved, I'm all for it. But sometimes, as they say, as I was thinking about it, you know, we hear the headlines, we hear Trump out there, we see all of this, but can you guys hear that as an ambulance or cop or whatever? But the devil is in the details. And sometimes the devil is in the details, and not just in the details when it's finished, but in the details before it gets started. And so as I was thinking about that in the shower, one of the reasons I'm late, I started writing something, and I just want to tell you, because I think something is off at the top here. You can feel that something is off. The pauses are long. The words don't quite match the moment. I'm going to show you some of it. I show you the evidence after I do this. The anger comes before the thought, right? You're like, wait a minute, why is he so angry? What's going on? And look, I'm not diagnosing anyone, but I've been around for a long time. As I say, old people be knowing. But when a country starts whispering about the person steering the ship, that is a sign that, you know, something is happening. As they say, get out of that water, boy. My mom used to say, those waves are getting high. The waves are getting high, and they are. The government, our government, is still shut down right now. Families are waiting on paychecks right now. Let's not forget what's happening here. Hospitals are rationing care. People are rationing their medication, and on and on and on. Families are waiting for paychecks, right? In the middle of that chaos, soldiers in Chicago, soldiers in Portland talk of Atlanta next. And that's so, to me, that's not leadership. That's a government that's trying to control what it can't explain. That's a government that's trying to distract away from something that they don't want people to find out about. They don't want us to uncover. We need to excavate. Now, I told you I was considering going to Chicago, and I spoke to my friend GB. I'll just tell him that's his initials, George. And he reminded me of all the connections I have in Chicago and all the people. He goes, you know, such and such, she heads the blah, blah, blah now. And you know, this person, he heads this. And I'm like, yeah, I do know. I knew that. I was in Chicago for 3 years. That was my Obama years. Do you know, the Lord works in mysterious ways. The Lord took me to Chicago to see Barack Obama's rise front and center, from a state senator with holes in his shoes to become a U.S. senator, and then run for president when I got to CNN. And I think I did one of the first international or national news interviews with him, just sitting in Chicago. So I spoke to a woman in Chicago, said, Don, it's strange to look out on my window and see troops where I used to see neighbors. And that is the story of America right now. Power standing where community used to stand. And while our streets are filled with soldiers, the president is calling himself a peacemaker right now. He wants that Nobel Prize. He's a peacemaker. A deal, they say, between Israel and Hamas. An end, at least for now, to the war in Gaza. That's what they say. We will see what happens. I hope it does happen. And look, if that is real, if it saves even one life, if one mother gets to hold her child again because of guns that finally go quiet, I'm all for it. Whoever helped to make that happen, as I said, deserves credit. That's humanity. That's not politics. But this morning, as my team and I sat watching the live pictures coming in, the stark contrast, we can put them up now. There's a stark contrast, and it's startling. On one feed, okay, put the Israel feed up first. On one feed, Israel, there were people celebrating. There were people dancing in the streets. They were holding signs. They were waving flags. Some even wearing masks and effigies, right? Look, the sign there, we love Trump. But then on that other feed, let's take a look at that other feed. Look at that. Nothing but rubble as far as the eye can see. Do you guys see that? Where beautiful buildings once stood, now there is just dust and silence, maybe the hum of vehicles, and who knows if there's incoming whatever. People shoeless. Look at those pictures. Roaming the ruins. We watched a child lose his wheelchair as it rolled down the hill right there. A friend ran after it, caught it, lifted him back in. Utter devastation. So I'm not a Middle East expert, but pictures speak 8,000 words. And this morning, they said more than any briefing ever could. All you have to do is look at the pictures, because behind the headlines and the handshakes, Gaza is still buried. 55 million metric tons of rubble. 1.9 million displaced Palestinians. 99%, there it is right there. 99% of households are food insecure. At least 67,000 confirmed deaths. That's people who are dead. And a total of 186,000 lives lost, directly or indirectly, to war, hunger, or disease. That's crazy. Put those back up. I want to make sure you get it. 55 million metric tons of rubble. 55 million. 1.9 million displaced Palestinians. 99% of households are food insecure. At least 67,000 confirmed deaths. and a total of 186,000 lives lost directly or indirectly to war, hunger, or disease. So those aren't stats. They're not statistics. They are the echoes of humanity. People who once cooked dinner, taught school, people who played soccer, they prayed for safety. All of that is erased. Look at the pictures. I don't have to say anything. I can just sit here and look at that. So yes, a peace deal sounds good, but the devil is in the details. And yeah, I am saying it like you are hearing it and what you think I'm saying. Because peace isn't just about stopping bombs. It's about feeding the living. It's about rebuilding what's been destroyed. And it's about making sure no one, not Gaza, not in Tel Aviv, not in Chicago, is punished for the sins of the worst actors who put them there. Who are the worst actors who put the people of Gaza in that place where they are? There are lots of them, including Hamas, including Israel. Real peace isn't signed, it is lived. And this deal leaves millions still buried under rubble or starving in silence. If it does, then what we're calling peace is just a pause between tragedies. It's just a pause, and then there's another tragedy. There's Jerusalem. And while we're focused overseas, we might ask ourselves, where's the peace right here at home in the United States of America, the divided states of America? The government is shut down right now. The truth's being throttled right now. Right? I talk to a lot of people and they have no idea what's going on in Chicago. They're like, I'm not seeing it. Why aren't you seeing it? I don't know. I watch the news. I don't see it. It's not coming over on my feed. The truth is being throttled, and the man behind the curtain looks more lost with every single headline. So maybe it's not just that the devil is in the details. Maybe it's that we have stopped paying attention to them. Because the smallest truths, the ones buried in the rubble, the ones hidden between those two live feeds that I showed you, they're still whispering to us. Boy, that's a stark contrast, isn't it? They're asking whether we see them. We see the people in Israel. We see the people in Gaza. They're wondering whether we see them, if we still care, whether we still remember what being human feels like. Remember what being human feels like, no matter what you think that you are fighting for, especially if you're doing it in the name of religion. Reecie Colbert is back, and we are both back right after 2 minutes. Word from our sponsors. This episode of the Don Lemon Show is brought to you by the Freedom from Religion Foundation, and this one matters because right now, across the U.S., politicians are trying to push religion into public schools. Posters of 10 commandments, chaplains without clinical training, voucher schemes that send public money to private religious schools that exclude LGBTQ students and non-Christians. But the Freedom from Religion Foundation is fighting back, and they're winning. A federal court just blocked a Texas law that would have forced every public classroom to display the 10 commandments. That is a major victory for church-state separation. So they're defending the First Amendment every single day in court, in Congress, and in classrooms so that public education stays just that, truly public. So here's what you do. You learn more at ffrf.org/school or text DON, that's DON, to 511-511. Don't let your rights be rewritten. Again, go to ffrf.org/school or text DON, DON, to 511-511. Message and data rates may apply. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Graza, my go-to olive oil. So if you know me, you know I like to cook. Dinner at my place is kind of a thing. And lately, the secret to my kitchen has been Graza. Graza is extra virgin olive oil that's fresh, affordable, and actually fun to use. They pick, press, and bottle all their olives in the same season, and the harvest date is right on the bottle. So you know it's the real deal. They've got two incredible oils, Sizzle and Drizzle. Sizzle is your everyday cooking oil, roasting, sauteing, anything in the pan. Drizzle is for finishing over salad, over pasta, even over ice cream. And as I've been saying, even a little in a martini, I'm telling you, makes all the difference. I'm serious. I use Sizzle for the skillet and Drizzle for everything else. And right now is the time to stock up. Graza's annual site-wide sale is on through October 21st with a 20.74% discount of everything automatically at checkout. So go to graza.co to take your food to the next level. That's graza.co. Trust me, your taste buds will thank you. Your taste buds will thank you. And we thank all of our sponsors. Okay. So I want to discuss with you what's happening. And this is what's happening. This is what we know right now. Okay. And we have Reecie. There's Reecie. Reecie, let me read this and then we can talk about it, because this is a breaking news. President Trump announced last night that the, quote, first phase of the plan to end the war in Gaza has been signed. It includes a pause in fighting and the release of Israeli hostages, and Palestinian prisoners. The White House says that it expects hostages to be released on Monday. 48 hostages remain to be returned, of whom Israel says it believes 20 are still alive. The agreement comes almost 2 years to the day after the Hamas, remember it was October 7th. We're in October 9th now. After the Hamas-led terrorist attacks on Israel that killed 1,200 people. Since then, more than 67,000 people have been killed in Gaza. That's according to the Palestinian Health Ministry. And I gave you all of those stats. And while all of us can be glad that this appears to be a long war that's potentially over, we have to reflect on all that has happened in the last 24 months. And as I said, 92% of homes in Gaza destroyed, 99% of households are now food insecure, 55 million metric tons of rubble, 1.9 million displaced Palestinians, 67,000 confirmed deaths, 186,000 direct and indirect deaths. That's a lot, Reecie.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, I echo, what you so eloquently laid out before. A couple of things also stand out. According to news reports, 10 Palestinians have been killed and 49 have been injured in the past 24 hours since this ceasefire has been announced. And so I don't know if this is another thing like with the Iran-Israel ceasefire where like Israel got another bomb off at the last second and it was like, oh, okay, now we're having a ceasefire. But the killing needs to stop. The carnage needs to stop. Another thing that just stood out to me is the proportionality. Obviously nobody should have been taken and kidnapped and held hostage for years. That goes without saying. But when you look at it, we're talking about 48 hostages being returned compared to 1,700 Palestinians being returned as a part of this deal. You look at 1,000 people being killed versus 67,000 people being killed. Nobody should be killed. Nobody should be killed at all. But the comfort that people had with the massively disproportionate response to the atrocity that happened on October 7th, it's very telling, and I think it's going to be a stain on our society. And so we can nobody gets a Nobel Peace Prize for anything that's happened here. There should be a point of shame, for generations to come. Nobody should celebrate anything that has happened here. It is absolutely something worth, being relieved by, that hopefully there will not be more carnage. But this is not cause for a person, especially somebody like Donald Trump, to be celebrated over. One of the things, and I read through the 20-point peace plan, one of the things that stood out to me, and I'm going to read one of the bullet points. Upon acceptance of this agreement, full aid will be immediately sent into the Gaza Strip. At a minimum, aid quantities will be consistent with what was included in the January 19th, 2025 agreement regarding humanitarian aid, including rehabilitation of infrastructure, water, electricity, sewage, rehabilitation of hospitals and bakeries, and entry of necessary equipment to remove rubble and roads. Biden was president.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe Biden was president on January 19th. So what this bullet point tells me is that for the past almost 9 months, the person who believes that he deserves a peace prize allowed Israel to violate this agreement from January 19th. He allowed people to starve, for famine to take over, for more carnage to happen. And so the idea that Donald Trump deserves peace for this deal, which still it's a high level bullet point PDF, if you ask me, in terms of the details behind it. Like you said, the devil's in the details, is absolutely absurd. And it's even more absurd when you think about the terror that this administration is inflicting on American soil. Okay. Mm-hmm. When you have ICE agents belting preachers, pastors in the head with
rubber bullets.
When you have agents rappelling down the side of apartment buildings like this is some Nino Brown New Jack City shit. I mean, we are not living in peace in America. So I hope that this ceasefire is long lasting. I hope that Gazans, Palestinians rather, get to live in peace and in the West Bank as well. That they get to live in peace. I don't have faith in this administration. I don't have faith in the world leadership community because the entire world failed Gaza. But for the sake of the children that have just dealt with terror for the past 2 years, I really hope that this is true, or that this is lasting.
Someone in the comments said what I was just going to talk about. On this day in 2009, Obama received a Nobel Peace Prize. And that is, man, Donald Trump wants that Peace Prize so bad because he's, the black man got one. Of course, I should get one. I should have had one. The 2009 Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the United States President Barack Obama for his extraordinary efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation between peoples. The Norwegian Nobel Committee announced the award on October 9th, 2009, citing Obama's promotion of nuclear nonproliferation and a new climate in international relations fostered by Obama, especially in reaching out to the Muslim world. And so, now the orange man is out saying, we haven't had peace in the Middle East in hundreds of years. We haven't, but we don't know if this one is going to last. I hope it is, but I guess if it's between, what's happening there, is it the entire Middle East?
Well, also, I mean, listen, if it takes Donald Trump getting a Nobel Peace Prize,
let him have it.
I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that if that's genuinely what it takes. I don't give a damn. You can give him 10 Nobel Peace Prizes. You can tell he's the greatest Nobel Peace Prize winner ever. If that's what it takes for the people of Gaza to no longer be subjected to this carnage, I don't have a problem with that. But I do think, and Don, I'm so glad that we have you in this space as independent media, where the mainstream media is failing, is parroting Donald Trump's idea that he's thrown out there that he deserves some sort of Nobel Peace Prize when, like I said, our states and our cities are being militarily occupied by this regime, when this administration has given federal agents, ICE agents, the ability to have lethal force. They have given people the ability to kill American citizens. I think that that's something that the mainstream media should be pointing out. Like, yes, this is great if this holds. However, let's also talk about what's happening in the United States and what this administration is inflicting, and for no good reason. No good reason. You cannot tell me these images are an improvement over this so-called border invasion. You can't tell me that's an improvement, which there was no border invasion. So I think that the fact that this mainstream media still refuses to put things in context and still refuses to recognize the norms that are being shredded and the autocracy that we're living under, I call it Trump Crow. I think it's just a failure of this media and of recognizing the moment that we're in and the danger we're facing in this country.
I agree with you. Look, and you know who else agrees with you? At least on the first part that you said. I don't know about what in the streets around the country, but John Fetterman does, for whatever that means. Here it is.
Do you think the president deserves a Nobel Peace Prize?
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, if this sticks, I think the whole point of having a Nobel Peace Prize is for ending wars and promoting peace. And I'm going to make a direct appeal to the president. I hope he chooses to provide the tomahawks to the Ukrainians too, and give them the tools that they need to push back against Russia. And if he brings the Ukrainian war to its end, I'll be the Democrat leading the committee for his Nobel Prize Peace for ending both of these terrible wars.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Senator.
Okay, so here's the thing for me. Like you said, do I care if Donald Trump gets a peace prize? No. If that saves a life, okay, then go for it. The thing for me is that why is it even a question? Why is he out here campaigning for a peace prize? Why are his people caping and campaigning for a peace prize? It's so beneath the dignity and the office that he holds. I mean, he has degraded the office, and he is not a dignified person. He has no shame. But I just like, why are you out here doing that? Just maybe if you did the work, and let it speak for itself. People may say, let's give him a thing, but he's just not gracious and a buffoon.
Well, I can tell you this. Fetterman tried to throw Ukraine in there. That ain't happening. Okay, because Netanyahu is not Putin. Okay. So at the end of the day, we have not seen Donald Trump be willing to stand up to Putin. And so I don't think that he has any interest in really ending the Ukrainian war. So if that's Fetterman's criteria, then don't hold your breath. Okay. I mean, seriously. But mind you, remember Donald Trump said he was going to end these wars on day one?
Yes,
he said, "Oh, I've been elected. It might end before I even get sworn in because people know that I'm coming in." But none of that's happened.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that hasn't happened. He did not end these wars on day one.
The thing for me is he's always drafting off of people. Like he's trying, he's drafting off of what Joe Biden did, right? You said that this was broken. Or what he does is he either drafts off of people or he creates a problem and then he pretends that he fixed it. Because Netanyahu, as you said, what did he do? He broke the agreement, right? He reneged on the agreement. And then since Donald Trump has been in office, Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying, basically saying, I can walk him like a dog. I have him on a string. I can do whatever. But now that public sentiment, because of what Netanyahu has done in Gaza, the overdoing the response, everyone says Israel has a right to defend itself. Of course it does. But this was overdone. This was overkill. Pardon the, overkill, but that's exactly what it was. Yeah. And so for him to now come in, as you said, and say, I want a peace prize for a problem that you didn't address in the first place, but now that Netanyahu, that public sentiment has changed and Netanyahu wants to be reelected again, and his polling numbers are down, and he realizes that he can't do it without you. Of course, look, he set Donald Trump up for this, and he is the one who, he can only blame himself. He gave him the ammo. Yeah.
I mean, well, this is completely arbitrary. What is different today or yesterday than the days and the weeks and the months before? Nothing. It's the political sentiment. I mean, we also have to point out that there have been more Democrats who've said, we're not going to take money from AIPAC. We're turning against, just this blank check and this unlimited power to just inflict war and carnage on the people of Gaza. And so the tide is turning. And so perhaps this is, Netanyahu's trying to kind of read the room a little bit on this. But he has not held on these types of things before. There have been multiple ceasefires, there have been multiple temporary pauses and fights and all those kinds of things. And so I think this has been a bipartisan failure. Don't get me wrong. And that's why I just think that nobody deserves to do a victory lap here.
Reece, you know what? It just reminded me. Remember, we had these celebrations. I'm hoping this isn't a repeat of that. Remember, we had these celebrations, and I remember I had Rula Jibril on. They were celebrating, and they were like, "This is great." And Donald Trump is the mastermind behind this. It wasn't Biden, and they were saying. And then all of a sudden, Bibi went, "I'm not doing that," and he people were celebrating in the streets. Do you remember that?
I do remember. Yeah.
And it did not hold.
No. But I hope that it does. I pray that it does.
Yes, I do. But I'm just saying we need to be cautious. Yeah. Cautious optimism is what I'm saying.
And I will give Trump credit if 3 years from now, we're not looking at a Trump Tower, a Trump hotel, a Trump resort, or a Jared Kushner resort and hotel.
You're asking for too much.
I know, but I'm just saying, one of the bullet points was a Trump economic plan of revival. Well, they've already had the AI videos of Trump, resorts and him and BB sitting up there sunbathing. Like anybody wanted to see that. So, I mean, I think the how matters, but I don't want to speak for Palestinians, but I'm sure that more than anything, they want to stop living under bombs flying over their heads every single day. And so maybe for them, they're like, I don't care. Just give us a break, but I don't think that this is a matter of altruism. I don't think this is a matter of recognizing the humanity of the Palestinians. I don't think that this is a matter of enough is enough. I think that perhaps something has happened where they see an economic opportunity here, or they see that this is no longer politically a winning issue for them. But if that's what it takes, to stop the killing, I think that's too low of a bar. But what we've seen over the past several years, I think you have to at least recognize that part being something worth saying, thank God, that hopefully this killing will stop.
There's lots of talk during the election about Joe Biden's alleged cognitive decline. And I see Joe Biden out living his best life. He's at ball games. He's interacting with people. He's talking. He looks good to me.
Yeah, he does.
But, people don't really discuss Donald Trump's issues in the way that they discuss Joe Biden, but they're starting to, because there's this governor in the state of Illinois who is not too happy with Donald Trump right now. And here is what he is saying.
It appears that Donald Trump, not only has dementia set in, but he's copying tactics of Vladimir Putin, sending troops into cities, thinking that that's some sort of proving ground for war, or that indeed there's some sort of internal war going on in the United States, is just, frankly, inane. And I'm concerned for his health. The idea that you're going to go suggest that you're going to arrest people, or that people don't deserve to be U.S. citizens when they are, just because they oppose the president of the United States. I mean, there is something genuinely wrong with this man, and the 25th Amendment ought to be invoked.
Whoa, strong words from J.B. Pritzker. J.D. Pritzker, did you hear the first thing he said was Donald Trump dementia is setting in?
Yes, he did.
And Donald Trump's folks on the right are fighting back. They're not too happy about it. We're going to hear from them right after a word from our sponsors. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. October 10th is World Mental Health Day. And this year, we're saying thank you to the therapists who help millions of people heal, grow, and just keep going. BetterHelp has helped over 5 million people find support, and behind every story is a therapist who asked the right question, offered a safe space, or just listened. That's what makes a difference, okay? Someone who can just listen and then offer you some advice, or give you the right word. I've said it before, talking to someone really helps. I've had those moments in therapy where one sentence shifts your whole perspectives. So if you've ever thought about trying therapy, maybe this is your sign. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform with over 30,000 licensed therapists. They'll match you to someone who fits your needs. And if it's not a fit, you can switch. You can do it at any time. Our listeners get 10% off of their first month at betterhelp.com/DonLemon. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DonLemon. Take that step today. Support for the Don Lemon Show comes from Shopify. Now, you guys know this show started as a dream, right? An idea that grew into a real business. And that's what Shopify does. It helps you turn your ideas into something that is real. Okay? I love that sound. Shopify powers millions of businesses around the world, from household names to small shops just getting started. It is the platform that we use for our very own merch store here at the Don Lemon Show. Go check out our merch on Shopify. So don't worry if you're not tech savvy. Shopify gives you beautiful website templates, I should say, AI tools that write product descriptions, generate discount codes, even help with emails and social campaigns. And if you ever get stuck, their 24/7 support has your back. So turn your what ifs into why nots and start your dream today. For just $1 a month, go to shopify.com/lemon and to start your free trial. That's shopify.com/lemon, because that sound never gets old. Thanks to our sponsors. Right on, right on. That cash register sound, they don't do that anymore. Do you remember the old cash register drawers? And the drawer would come out.
Yeah.
The money was popping, coming in. Okay. So you heard what JB Pritzker said. And I mean, some folks are not real happy that people are saying this. Here is Jesse Walters.
You can't be a dictator with dementia. You can't suspend an election and then forget you suspended an election. Trump didn't need note cards to know who Hillary Clinton was. And the guy has the longest memory of anybody. He remembers every slight, every name, every statistic. The man is a lot of things. He does not have dementia.
Okay, Dr. Walters. Waters. How dare you say my president has dementia? Even though Joe Biden, you know, he did. He needed a note card to know who Hillary Clinton was. I mean, come on, Tim Apple.
Yeah, well, first of all, you can actually have dementia and be a dictator when you have enablers like weak ass Mike Johnson, and John Thune is the Senate Majority Leader. Whoever even hears from him, like never. Never. I forget that he's the Senate Majority Leader. You see Mike Johnson crashing, Democratic pressers. Where's John Thune at? Like, where is he at? And so, yeah, when you have a flaccid Congress, when you have a subservient, subjugated Supreme Court, as opposed to these co-equal branches of government, then yes, a dementia diaper Don can actually be a dictator of this country. And we're seeing it play out right now. We're seeing the dumbest person to occupy the White House dictating economic policy that's destructive, the tariffs. They won't release the jobs report because it's so bad.
We're going to talk about that.
Thank you, because I want to talk about that. You know, he is running this country by his sick, sadistic revenge fantasies, ensuring that Comey was indicted and arraigned, even though there was no evidence. He has to fire people to get his sycophants in there to indict and to charge people with crimes that they did not commit. Meanwhile, his presidency is the only reason why he's not sitting in jail his damn self. So yes, do not sit up there and try to say that Donald Trump's ability to wreak havoc on this country is some sort of evidence that he does not have dementia, when actually it's evidence of how weak and how worthless the Republican Party is.
Well, you said flaccid Congress. I say impotent. I mean,
there we go.
You know. So do you know what clock it is? Everyone does this, but I'm told it's this finger.
So I heard this is clock it, and then this is applause.
Okay, is that
clock
what it is?
And then applause.
So I need to clock it here and then applause here.
Yeah.
All right.
And then applause. That's what I've been told. You know, the kids told me
that. And to you. Thank you very much. Well, in the meantime, this is from our friends over at the Midas Touch. I love evidence.
Mm-hmm.
And my stupid people, when I wanted to refute it, they said, sir, don't dignify it with a rebuttal.
Have you been noticing peculiar behavior recently in someone you know?
Carried out by rape.
Someone who mixes fiction and reality?
The late, great Hannibal Lecter. He's a wonderful man.
Perhaps someone of advanced age you have known for years.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable, Venezuela.
Of course, we all have our goofs. But consistently odd behavior can be a sign of frontotemporal dementia, a degenerative disease of the frontal and temporal lobes of the brain that dramatically impairs cognitive function. And there are some key signs to look out for, like slurring words.
The failing New York Times by anonymous, really anonymous.
Struggling to find the correct words is another sign.
The Mueller report, I wish, covered the oranges of the investigation.
You may also notice someone veering into incoherent ideas, detached from reality.
You know what I'd do if there was a shark or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time. I'm not getting near the shark.
Or an inability to complete simple sentences.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
Other notable symptoms include impaired motor function, such as a wavering limb, and decreased balance, often accompanied by a signature lean or arched stance. If someone you know is demonstrating several or all of these symptoms, they are seriously unwell. As a matter of safety, They must be relieved of critical responsibilities and disqualified from any position of authority. Remember, frontotemporal dementia is a degenerative disease. Cognitive function will never return and will only deteriorate further. Don't ignore the signs.
I mean, it's kind of serious. Maybe I shouldn't be laughing because I don't know.
Yeah, I
And we
mean,
forgot about acetaminophen. How do you say that? Acetaminophen.
on the one hand, I want to say, nurse, the patient is out. But on the other hand, like, I don't want to make light of the fact that, dementia is a serious, serious condition. And, typically a person of that kind of mental faculty would be under serious care. I mean, if he was a pop singer, he would be in a conservatorship right now. He wouldn't be able to be roaming the country and sending National Guard into different cities. He's not well. And maybe he doesn't have dementia. Maybe he's just a dumbass. Maybe he's just a really rotten person who just is taking all of this power to the head. Maybe he just thinks that this is one big reality TV show like the Truman Show, and he's like the producer, and he's like, what can we get the people going with today? I don't know. I'm not going to diagnose him, but what I do know is that he is unfit, he is incompetent, and he's just downright evil. I know that's probably harsh to say, but he's evil, and he should not be in this position.
Well, you're right about the Truman Show, and it's just a show, and that's what he does. I mean, I think that's what he's a master at. Whether when someone calls it lizard brain, but I think that's really what he is the master at.
You have to give him that credit. You do.
Yeah.
You do have to give him that credit.
Yeah. So let's talk about the financials of it all. But before that, just one more thing, because this is him talking about Jerome Powell, and that's how we're going to get into the numbers. Here it is, his moment of whatever's going on with him.
He's a terrible Fed chair. I was surprised he was appointed. I was surprised, frankly, that Biden put him in and extended him. It is my pleasure and my honor to announce my nomination of Jerome Powell to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve.
Biden put him in and renewed him, but he appointed Jerome Powell. Anyways, we usually get job numbers today and economic numbers. Where they at? Where them numbers at?
Where them numbers at? Hit me one time. Hit me two. Look, people feeling the numbers. This is one of those things where people actually feel it. We all know somebody who's been laid off. We all probably know multiple people who've been laid off. We've all been called into a conference room at this point where we've been told that there's a rift happening or somebody has lost their job or something like that. This hits very close to home for many Americans. And that's why this data is not being released. But Don, I did, my husband, he has the Wall Street Journal subscription. So he sent me an article.
Me too. I'm sorry, nerd. Go ahead.
Okay, look, because like the reporting, you got to tip that hat a little bit on the reporter side. The opinion side is a little cray. But there are other sources where we can kind of get a picture of the jobs, of what's happening in the job market. You have the ADP private labor report, which has shown real softness and actually real problems for months. It's been showing that private sector jobs have been shedding for months. I was on Abby Phillips' show where I pointed this out a couple months back. But there are other things. I'm just going to read through a couple of things if I may. So Bank of America has said, this is reporting from the Wall Street Journal, that it's seeing signs of rising unemployment and slowing job growth in its customers' data. Private equity company Carlyle Group, extrapolating from its companies, is saying that they think that overall job growth slid in September from an already weak reading in August. Goldman Sachs says that its labor market tightness fell last month back to levels seen in 2015. This is one of the toughest landscapes for job seekers. Now, remember, when Biden-Harris was in office, it was a job seekers market. Now, towards the end, it became a little bit more tough. It was harder to get a job and things of that nature. But there was a period of time where it was really, as employees, we kind of had the leverage here. Well, now it's the other way around. And so I think that there is great cause for concern, and I think it must be said that this did not have to happen. A lot of the tightness that we're seeing in the job market is because of the instability of the federal government and Donald Trump's erratic policies. Companies are not going to invest in capital and capital expenditures are not going to invest in expanding their workforce when they don't know what's going to happen from one day to the next. You have the federal government who does a lot in terms of contracting. They unilaterally cancel contracts, they cancel grants, they cancel all kind of funding. That funding creates jobs. It creates jobs in the private sector. It creates jobs with federal contractors. Well, when this federal government is snatching back all of this money from all these agencies to feed ICE, to feed the Department of Homeland Security, and they have a singular focus on this mass deportation. If you're focused on mass deportation, then you're not focused on growing the economy. We don't have unlimited money. And so they're taking money, trying to cut NASA's budget by 50%, which is something that feeds, that builds our engineering workforce, that builds our business workforce, and all of the things that go around that, to give ICE agents $50,000 bonuses. Then that's why we see this erosion of our economic standing. People, and if we can talk about the sexism, we can talk about the racism that made people attracted to Trump, but beyond everything, people had jobs in the Biden-Harris administration. What people were unsatisfied with was inflation and affordability. Two things that have gotten worse under Donald Trump because of Donald Trump's policies, not because, these macroeconomic global factors. He is the singular biggest wrecking ball to the global economy. And that's what we're seeing play out in these numbers. And this government shutdown is not helping either.
Oh, boy. We tried to make the folks happy, or at least not depressed this morning.
Yeah, I know. Well, if you got a job, you should be happy. Look, if you got a job, hold on to that job like this. Clock in on time, honey. Okay, don't take them 1 hour lunch breaks if your lunch break's supposed to be 32 minutes. Okay, you better be on your P's and Q's because it is rough out here. But be grateful if you have a job.
Well, we're joking, but I mean, it's true. The numbers you're saying, obviously that's true. But, if you listen to some of the folks, if you listen to Donald Trump in the administration, like, the economy is the biggest, the best, whatever. And that's not necessarily so. And even if let's just say his numbers are accurate, people would be, at least giving him a side eye or questioning them because the man just lies so much.
Yeah.
He just lies.
Well, if you look at who their lens is towards, it's towards billionaires. Their lens is not towards the everyday working person whose healthcare premiums are about to skyrocket, who they are ripping off every time we turn around. Their lens is towards their billionaires. So yeah, when you have tech billionaires coming and kissing his ass at the White House and saying, "Thank you, President Trump, for having us here. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And you have different businesses that are capitulating to him, giving them equity stakes in equity. Then yeah, in his view, all things are good. The stock market is irrational at this point, as strong as it is, given the fact that the economy is in such shambles. But that's another example where there's always been a disconnect between the stock market and what people are actually experiencing. And so it doesn't surprise me that his cabinet full of unqualified people or billionaires thinks that everything is great, because they have no problem with what they've called short-term pain. If that means that their pals get richer. That's why they bailed out a billionaire pal when it comes to giving Argentina $20 billion. But they want to say that they don't have money or that the ACA Obamacare subsidies are too expensive when that's 30-something billion. So it's who they care about. When they say that things are well, it reveals who they care about. And it ain't everybody who's out there scratching and surviving, clocking in, and trying to make ends meet.
Well, we have an update on, what's happening with the Epstein investigation and the government shutdown, but I'm going to save those for later. Okay. Because I want to just keep focused on what we're talking about right now. And so let me give you some pictures. Let's take you back, if we can, to Gaza so that you guys can see what's happening. Look, we hope that there is ceasefire or peace deal, but this is a beautiful seaside. You can see the ocean right up there in the top left where it says, live Gaza. Just beautiful ocean.
I just noticed the ocean right there. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a beautiful seaside, what was once a beautiful seaside town. And now it's like homeless. It looks like a homeless encampment with just tents everywhere. It's unbelievable. So the devil's in the details. We'll see what happens. If you want to know anything about the Don Lemon Show, go to donlemon.com. You go to donlemon.com and you can find everything you need to know. If you click on watch, it'll tell you where you can subscribe, because that's very important to us, as I told you at the beginning of the show. And you can join and become a member. Our memberships are extremely reasonable. I look at some other people's memberships. I'm like, I need to start charging more. But, I know that you just gave those numbers, so I know how people are right now. You know what I'm saying? And then join if you can. And of course, you know where our merch store is. If you back out, you will see our merch store right there on the front as well. Okay. The other thing that I want to tell you about is that if you do purchase the merch and you're a lemon head, send us the pictures. And I think we have some this morning. Oh, look at it. I mean, the lemon heads are good looking. Look at that.
Yes.
This is Phyllis from Arkansas.
All right, Phyllis. I see Phyllis is all old people be knowing. She's got that's a shirt version of the sweatshirt that I'm wearing today. And this is a light sweatshirt. It's good. You can layer
it
this
looks good. I like it.
And then we have the fan. That was your suggestion.
Dominant biggest fan. Hit me one time. Hit me two times. That's right, Phyllis. I know that's right. Boots on the ground.
I had a fan somewhere. Oh my gosh, this bag is so heavy. Okay, thank you, Phyllis. Who else do we have?
We have one more from Sally in North Carolina.
Hey, Sally. I like that.
Oh yeah, I do. I love that. Sally.
Sure do.
Hi, gorgeous. She's got her sunglasses on, and she's wearing that Lemon Nation shirt is great.
It's so cute. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, beautiful. I hope that's her backyard. I don't know if it's a backyard or a park or whatever. It's somewhere where she lives. That's a gorgeous, gorgeous backdrop. Thank you, Sally. All right. There you go, Reecie. And look, Reecie.
Okay. Yeah. You had a little bit. Okay, there we go. Hit me one time. Hit me two times. Hit me three times. That's how you do it, Don. Don't be shy with the fan. I'm on fan timeout because I was ruffling too many feathers. So I said, oh shit.
Really?
Yeah.
On the dance floor?
Yeah, I was at a concert and I almost got into a situation. So actually my husband almost got into a situation.
Really? What happened?
Well, because I was feeling it. I was whacking my fan, and somebody didn't really appreciate it, and so
look what someone said.
Look, Don is hip. Okay, he know this all about the fans right now. So I said, you know what, I'm on timeout.
How is a fan gay? How's a fan gay?
Look, you cool as a fan, ain't that? Remember that you cool as a fan.
I know.
Am I aging myself with that little saying? They don't say the kids.
Yes, you are. All right, Reecie, don't be getting in confrontations, okay?
No. I'm chilling. I put my fan on timeout at certain venues, but I still got my fans now. Don't trip. I still got it. Okay.
Was it a Karen thing?
No, it was a black man. He just, but his problem was he was shorter than me. See, I'm tall. People don't realize how tall I am. I always get that, like, oh my God, you're so tall. So between my fan,
you don't have to be white to be a Karen. I'm just saying.
That's true. That is true. That is true. But he didn't appreciate my fan action. Now, look, but you know what? I'm okay because I'm not a butthole. I wasn't trying to be a butthole. So I said, you know what? You on timeout because for my husband's sake and for my sake, I'm a chill on the fan, but I still have my fans, okay, and I still bring them out from time to time.
Thank you, Reecie.
Well, can I say,
we need to find out about everything you need to tell us
before you kick me off. I will say, listen, on Instagram, I am at 97,000 followers. And that's that. Yeah, that. I mean, my one video I did did massive numbers, and so I've gotten a lot of followers. But
We
for
need to
my
get you to
birthday,
100. We need to get you to
yeah, for my
100.
birthday, I would really, really, really love to hit 100K. And I'm not ashamed to ask for followers. Okay. And so if you are not following me on social media, it's Reecie Colbert on all socials. If y'all share a video, with people who enjoy cussing, and let the people know I'm gonna post a clip from this show, Dawn. And so just follow me. It don't cost you nothing to hit the follow button, okay? Just follow me on Instagram so I can get to 100K by my birthday, okay? Thank you.
Get Reecie to 100K, y'all.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Reecie, where else can we find you? And do you have a show somewhere coming up?
Well, yes. So I will be in Houston. Clay Kane, he's also a friend of the Don Lemon Show. We will both be live in Houston this Saturday, October 11th. Clay and Reecie live.eventbrite.com. It's a good time. It's interactive. It's not like for people who are like, oh, I'm too depressed, then come to our show. We will definitely lift your spirits. So that's Clay and Reecie live.eventbrite.com. My show, The Reecie Colbert Show, is Saturdays on Sirius XM Urban View. I have people who call in and say, I found you from Lemon Nation, from Don Lemon Show. So shout out to the Lemon Heads, Lemon Legends. I know you got a whole posse of people. So we love Lemon Nation on Sirius XM Urban View. That Saturdays, it's live. It's a call-in show from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And then I'm Reecie Colbert on all socials, including YouTube. My YouTube is now Reecie Colbert. So check me out.
Okay, Reecie Colbert. Make sure you check Reecie Colbert out. And thank you for joining us.
Oh,
thank
wait,
you for being
one
a
more
friend of
thing.
the show. What else you got, Reecie?
This is my game. Am I tripping? It is a fun party game. It's like the black Am I the Asshole, but you ain't got to be black to play it. It has two sides. One side is trivia. So it's like famous scenarios from like black TV shows, black movies, black music. And then, so you guess what it is for points. You can play for points. And then you just debate who's tripping in the scenario. And then the other side is like everyday scenarios, like I don't tip more than $5, when I do takeout, stuff like that. So it gets the people going. My first edition sold out. This is my second edition. And you can get it on Am I Trippin'? Just how it's spelled, game.com. Okay. I'm an entrepreneur, y'all. I do all things.
If we're talking about Am I Tripping? I want to play something for you.
Yeah.
Andy, how long does it take you to get up an Instagram? Can you do that for me?
Sure.
Because this is Am I Tripping right here? Because she was definitely tripping. Hold on one second.
Yeah, let's do it.
She was definitely tripping. You reminded me of it because it was, and especially since you said it's the black Am I the A-hole game. And so let me know. I don't know if you saw this, but when I saw this, I was like, no way. This did not happen. This did not happen. And she was, poor thing. But yeah. Anyways, what's on your card game and where do you get it? On Amazon?
It's it's on amitrippinggame.com. Amazon take too much money, honey. So I'm like, y'all got to go to my website and get
okay.
it.
Are you ready?
Oh, I saw this. Yes.
G. There's a G. I like to try to solve the puzzle. Okay. Barry Washington.
No, that's not right.
Kerry Washington.
Yeah, Kerry Washington.
Tripping.
Andy, please play it one more time.
G.
There's a G.
I like to try to solve the puzzle.
Okay.
Barry Washington.
No, that's not right.
Kerry Washington.
Yeah, Kerry Washington.
Child. That is 100% tripping. I'm sorry, sister girl. She tried to come out and talk about it was Barry Washington is some famous.
That gets me. I'm like, if it had said Gordy, maybe Barry Gordy, but I mean Barry. What?
had to reach way back in the archives to come up with Barry Washington. You don't know Olivia Pope. You don't know what was the other one? The dance. What was the little dance movie that she had with Julia Stiles? I was like, not you got sir. Anyway, but she's done a lot of. Kerry Washington is what I would think a household name. If the white man know Kerry Washington, then sister, you need to know that Kerry Washington.
Barry, I mean, I might have thought Jerry.
Jerry, is it who's Jerry Washington?
I'm just saying Jerry is more like it's more of a name than Barry.
Yeah, because Barry is usually Barry, right? Not BE.
Yeah, but I think Barry Gordy is BE.
That's true. Barry Gordy will work. Barry Gordy will work. Yeah.
Barry Gordy is BERRY. Yeah.
You got to know Kerry, sis. You got to. Now Jamil Hill posted her explanation. And she said, "Oh, Barry Washington is some kind of black, inventor or something." Girl, even with that being said, this is Wheel of Fortune. The answer is going to be Kerry Washington. You got to use context clues. It's like people on Family Feud that say crazy stuff. You got to know your audience. It's obviously going to be Kerry Washington. She knew she was wrong though. She went Barry. As soon as the word left her mouth, she knew she was wrong. But bless her.
Well, there is a Barry Washington who said lynched for protecting 2 black girls. So there is a Barry Washington, but I mean, come on.
But Wheel of Fortune is not going to highlight that. That's all. It's
not going to have that.
That's not going to be Wheel of Fortune.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you. Mean it.
Love you.
Reecie Colbert, everyone. We'll see you. Check Reecie out on Sirius XM. All right, and the Reecie Colbert Show. That's it, guys. Look, that was funny. Barry Washington. Be informed without being inundated. Until I see you back here at 5 p.m. Eastern time here on the Don Lemon Show on the Don Lemon channel, I want you to turn the TV off.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never, ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see